usually a pretty ballsy kind of guy, but this particular case, I'm riding a little nervous.
What if I told you that deep in the Alaskan wilderness, a family built a life so raw, so real, that millions tuned in for over a decade just to see how they survived? From brutal winters to near-death accidents, Alaska, the last frontier wasn't just reality TV, it was a masterclass in resilience. But now, with the cameras gone and the show on pause, fans everywhere are wondering, what really happened to the Kilchers? And where are they today? The story of the Kilcher family didn't begin with reality television. Long before Discovery Channel arrived with its cameras, their history was already legendary. In the late 1930s, as Europe was torn apart by war, two dreamers from Switzerland, Yule Kilcher and Ruth Weber, fled the chaos to build a new life. Yule, a gifted scholar who spoke 12 languages, and Ruth, an aspiring opera singer and poet, weren't just escaping Nazi threats. They were searching for freedom. By 1940, the couple had settled on 160 acres of untouched wilderness near Kachemak Bay, Alaska. There were no roads, no modern conveniences, just raw land and determination. Over time, through the Homestead Act, their property grew to more than 600 acres. Yule hunted, farmed, and even helped shape the state of Alaska itself, serving as one of the 55 delegates who wrote its constitution in 1955. Ruth raised their 8 children, washed clothes by hand, homeschooled them by kerosene lamp, and became a respected columnist for the Anchorage Daily News. But here's something few fans know. Before reality TV even existed, Yule and Ruth made their own documentary called A Pioneer Family in Alaska. They toured Europe with it in the 1950s, long before the era of Alaska, the last frontier. The Kilchers weren't just homesteaders, they were storytellers, and decades later, their descendants carried that legacy into the digital age. Among those descendants, one name stands out, that's Kilcher. On the show, he was portrayed as the family patriarch, guiding the homestead with wisdom and grit. But his real story was far more complex. Etz grew up surrounded by music, eventually becoming a folk singer and cowboy poet. His songs told stories of survival, love, and pain. Yet in his 2018 memoir, he revealed the darker side of his childhood. His father, Yule, though brilliant, was prone to violent moods. Etz carried that trauma into adulthood, along with his experiences as a Vietnam War veteran living with severe PTSD. His daughter Jewel Kilcher, who later became a world-famous musician, also spoke about the abuse she endured, leaving home at just 15. For Etz, survival wasn't only about hunting or homesteading, it was about healing. Over the years, he worked to rebuild himself, shedding the layers of shame, anger, and pain. Today, he still lives close to the land and his family, but he's also found a new purpose. With albums like Acoustic Singles Collection and Through his work with organizations such as Project Healing Waters, he uses music and storytelling to help fellow veterans heal. For Etz Kilcher, the greatest frontier wasn't Alaska, it was finding peace within himself. If Etz was the soul of the family, his younger brother Otto Kilcher was its engine. As the 6th child of Yule and Ruth, Otto grew up with a knack for fixing anything. On the show, fans loved him for his mechanical genius, turning scraps into life-saving tools. His philosophy was simple: nothing is wasted, and anything can be fixed with enough grit. But in 2022, he faced a challenge no tool could repair. While tending cattle during a snowstorm, Otto was trampled by a cow. Suffering broken ribs and punctured lungs, the terrifying accident, captured on camera, left fans fearing for his life. True to his spirit, Otto fought back. He survived, recovered, and even reinvented himself. Today, at 73, he remains active on the homestead while also thriving as a digital creator. His YouTube channel, with over 80,000 subscribers, showcases his daily projects, mechanical skills, and humor. Despite internet rumors of his passing, Otto Kilcher is alive and well, still rolling hay bales, tinkering with machinery, and embodying the resilience fans admire. Carrying the legacy forward is Ivan Kilcher, Otto's son, and his wife Eve. On the show, they were the picture-perfect couple, raising their children Findlay and Sparrow Rose while balancing modern life with tradition. Ivan inherited his father's mechanical skills, while Eve became known for her passion for growing food. Together, they didn't just live the lifestyle, they modernized it. Eve published a successful cookbook with 85 family recipes, while the couple launched their website, an online membership called the Kilcher community. Through workshops on food preservation, building projects, and homesteading tips, they've inspired thousands worldwide to live more sustainably. Social media has turned their way of life into a global movement, proving that the Kilcher legacy continues to evolve with each generation. Another familiar face from the show was Kilcher, often portrayed as the black sheep of the family. Once a traveling musician, he returned to the homestead and found love with Jane Kilcher, a tough commercial fisherwoman from Homer, Alaska. Together, they became fan favorites on Alaska, the last frontier until tragedy struck. In 2015, while hiking in Otter Cove, fell from a cliff, suffering life-threatening injuries including broken bones, punctured lungs, and crushed ribs. His painful recovery was documented in episodes like Hard Road Home and Recovery Road. But the ordeal strained his marriage, and in 2023, Jane revealed that had filed for divorce. Since then, both have taken separate paths. now runs a YouTube channel where he shares raw, unfiltered Alaskan adventures without the influence of TV producers. Meanwhile, Jane Kilcher forged her own identity, a registered nurse. She later joined the cast of Bering Sea Gold in 2021, taking on one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. For Jane, survival meant not only weathering heartbreak, but also proving she could thrive in new frontiers. Then there's Charlotte Kilcher, Otto's wife, who joined the family after moving to Alaska in 1978 as a wildlife biologist. On the homestead, she became the heart of the garden, raising animals, keeping bees, and managing vast fields of peonies. Even after the show ended, Charlotte continues her agricultural work, cultivating hundreds of plants and sharing glimpses of her life online. She embodies the quiet strength and dedication that keep the Kilcher legacy thriving. Another key figure is Bonnie Kilcher Dupree, wife of Though her presence on screen was smaller, she contributed creativity and warmth to the homestead. An artist at heart, Bonnie has built a reputation for her Alaskan landscape paintings, displayed in local galleries and sold through small venues and online platforms. Today, she and divide their time between Alaska and Arizona, balancing art, music, and family life. For Bonnie, the frontier is both a home and a canvas. When Alaska, The Last Frontier, aired its final season in 2022, it ended quietly, without an official announcement or farewell episode. Fans were left with a hole where their favorite show once was. But the truth is, the Kilcher story was never about television cameras. It was always about resilience, tradition, and survival. And if you look closely, whether through music, Otto's YouTube videos, Ivan and Eve's workshops, Jane's adventures on Bering Sea Gold, or Bonnie's art, you'll see that the legacy of the Kilchers lives on. They continue to write their story every day, not just in Alaska's soil, but in the inspiration they've given to millions around the world. So, who was your favorite star of Alaska, The Last Frontier, and why? Was it the poet, Otto, the fixer, Eve, the nurturer, or maybe Jane, the survivor? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe.